Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is absolutely April. If you've been here before, then you know what I do. I do reality recaps, reviews, I give my opinion, I give my spiritual advice. So if you're here, go ahead and hit that like button, smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, come on in, join my tribe. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you'll be notified about all of my uploads. I got some new content ideas coming, so you got to be in on it because I'm going to need some feedback. So when I need my feedback, I need you to comment down below, interact with me. I will respond to you. So again, we're here for a reality recap of Married at First Sight. We're on episode 10. It's called Moody Monthiversaries, and that is definitely the case on this particular episode. I mean, everybody had a bad month-iversary. It was, I don't think anybody had a good one, maybe Mitch and Kristen, but what do y'all rate in this episode? I think I rate this episode, I would say I'll give it an 8. I'll give the episode an 8. It was a lot going on, and I got some thoughts. So let's get it in. Let's go ahead and get this going. So Kristen, Kristen is having making candles with her friend Zoe. They're talking about her marriage. She's talking about how she sees that marriage is as good as she thought it was going to be. She's enjoying Mitch, but then she does have an issue. She tells Zoe as she starts to break down and cry. She doesn't really know if they are a match because of how Mitch reacts to things. When she said that she wanted to be a house flipper, Mitch had all of these issues why it's not right to flip houses instead of being supportive. And I'm totally in agreement with Kristen. That can wear you down. And it's annoying. Like if I'm supporting you, why can't you support me, regardless of how you feel? So, her friend Zoe is telling her, don't lose yourself in this marriage. You can't shrink yourself for anybody. So, Kristen, you got a good friend in Zoe. You need to listen at what she's saying. Do not shrink yourself for Mitch because Mitch is going to steamroll you. And next thing you know, you won't even know who you are anymore. So, yeah, I totally understand what her friend was saying. But Kristen says she's going to be the best wife she can be. She's going to put her best foot forward in this marriage. And if it doesn't work, it ain't going to be because of her. So moving on, Morgan meets with her friend Deborah. She tells Deborah that Ben is still going around talking about their marriage to Justin. Now, I don't know why she's making a big deal of it because every season they all talk to each other about their marriages. I think last season, Lindsay used to confide in Olajuwon. So, I mean, I don't know what the big deal is or what secrets it is, but it's getting to a point where she's putting 20 on 10. It's not that serious, Morgan. So she tells Alexis tells Morgan that Ben is trash talking her, and she knows because Justin has him on speakerphone. Justin, if you know Alexis is in the room, you might want to take it off speakerphone as Ben is venting. Because what do when you go to your friends? You vent. I have vented to my friends before, so I don't know why the issue is being going to Justin to vent. It's not that serious. The serious part is Alexis is being a snitch. Number one, what goes on in your house, Alexis, should stay within your four walls. You don't need to go telling Morgan, well, oh, let me tell you what Ben's saying because you're being a pot stirrer now. So she said she tells her friend she left the apartment and Ben went running after her and then he ended up going to Alexis and Justin's apartment, and that Morgan was like, ugh, had an issue with that. So they, Alexis and Ben tried to FaceTime Morgan, and she was like, she ain't having it. If you're gonna have a conversation, you need to have it with me. They show her just basically going off on Ben, and it's just It's too much. It's like she is too like she goes way overboard about situations. She does not communicate well, and I don't know if who she treats Ben like that's her son. Like Ben deserves a little bit more respect than that. I know that you're angry, but he does deserve your respect. And Morgan does not give it, and she always wants you to give her respect, but she doesn't give any. You got to give a little, Morgan. So, so as Morgan is losing it, Ben is just speechless. I just feel bad for Ben. So moving on, Justin and his brother, they go fishing, and he tells his brother that married life is challenging. You don't say, because Alexa says she don't know why people have an issue with marriage, but you now see that it's challenging. Wow. Okay. So yeah, marriage is challenging. Newsflash. So so Justin is telling his brother that marriage life is challenging, and he's been having random outbursts, and he knows it's draining Alexis. He knows because Alexis says it. Alexis does not mince her words. She's a very good communicator. She's very clear in her communication. Sometimes she can be a bit much, but he knows exactly what it is that is irking Alexis. Um, I knew this was going to be an issue. Check out one of my first videos. I said Justin thinks he's a clear communicator, but because he's so busy trying to please, he has lost his voice. So you have, I mean, I get pleasing, but if you don't like something, you need to speak up and say something. Ben has the same issue. If you don't like something or if you don't feel like you did anything wrong, you need to stick up and stand 10 toes down in how you feel. You can't just let the other person bulldoze you, or you're trying to please them so much that you just lose yourself. Kristen, you too. So Alexis is having a drinks with her friend Jackie. Alexis feels like she's on her emotional roller coaster. She's feeling drained. Exactly what Justin said. Um, she says that Justin doesn't know how to self-regulate, and she has to do it for him a lot. So this whole self-regulation thing, yeah, I can understand that. But again, Alexis, you are now doing something that you're uncomfortable with. You are taking on the role of his mother. You are not his mother. So yeah, if he can't self-regulate, he needs to go and find help on how to help him to self-regulate. So her friend gives her a question. So if decision day was tomorrow, what would be your answer? She said she would be uncomfortable with a yes, and she would be uncomfortable with a no. So she's right in the middle. She don't know what she's gonna do, but she knows she's not gonna run, and she's gonna stick in it with her husband at this point. So moving on to Stasha. Stasha meets with her mom about her trust issues. She tells her mom this Nate is a slow mover. She is really belaboring the point that Nate has to tell her those three little words of I love you. And you've only known him for 4 weeks at this point. He doesn't have to move on your time, Stasha. Like, stop trying to control the situation. You can't control him. He's another human being. You can't control him. You can only hope that he does it, but you can't control him. So her mother reassures her it's only been a month. Stasha says patience is hard for her, but you're going to have some patience today, Stasha. You're going to have it today. Her mom asked her why she is struggling so much with trust, and Stasha believes this because she has been let down. She feels that trust is earned and not given, and I'm in agreement. Usually, people either freely give you their trust and then you have to break it, or someone is on the other end of the spectrum that you have to earn my trust. I'm on the earning spectrum. Some people freely give and then allow you to lose it. I'm a big person on earning the trust. Her mom says she feels bad. Her mom, kind of cries and says she feels, bad because she thinks that Stasha's trust issue comes from her seeing her in bad relationships. So mom, don't, don't put that weight on you. Stasha is now a grown woman. She's in therapy. She should be working through some of these trust issues. You are human. Parents, there is no book on how to be a parent. You're not going to get 100% correct, but you can only do what you can. And you did the best you can, because it appears that you really, really, you care about your daughter and you want her to be happy and healthy. So you've done your part, Mom. Just, Stasha's going to have to work through this on her own. So her mom encourages her to give Nate the space and to get to his own feelings. So yeah, let's keep going. So Morgan says she's not excited about her Monthiversary. So she doesn't feel like the warm and fuzzy, but I feel like that's kind of like on you, Morgan. That's on you. You're choosing to stay on this hill and die on this hill of being talking to Justin about you all's marriage. You're choosing to die on this hill. It just feels like a petty war to me at this point. So Stasha goes and babysits for Kristen. She babysits Kristen's dog Luna because Nate says he wants a dog. I don't know how that's going to work with Stasha. This is going to be interesting because as Kristen is showing her all the things that Luna needs, like peeling back her wrinkles and wiping around it, and Stasha looks like she's like overwhelmed by all the things that's needed to have a dog. And believe me, I was a dog owner for a few weeks. We had a little puppy. The puppy is now with someone else. Not just because it was a lot of work, my son was allergic, but at the same time, those 2 weeks, I felt like I was a zombie because, a little puppy and getting acclimated and making sure they go out. There's a lot of responsibilities, and sometimes they have accidents, and Stasha likes a pristine house. So she'd probably be better off with a cat. Kristen and Mitch head to a lake house in Julian, California. Never heard of Julian. Seems interesting. They start off with yoga, and the yoga, it was like in a little house. It was really cute, but Mitch is making all of these noises and grunting and groaning as he's stretching. Now, this is the same guy that had an issue with Luna making all the noise that she makes as a dog. But Mitch is around here groaning and moaning. Everybody looks uncomfortable. Kristen and the yoga instructor, they all look uncomfortable. Mitch is just groaning, moaning, and making all these noises. So I don't know what they do in their intimate time, but if he's that noisy during yoga, I can imagine, during their intimate time, how noisy he is. Like that was a lot. Like it would have threw me off a little bit. I probably would have busted out laughing, honestly. And he probably would have had an issue with that. So as they finish their yoga session, Mitch says he kind of sees how he relates stretching to their marriage. So it was quite interesting, how he related stretching to their marriage. And Kristen looks like she tried to keep it from escalating into an argument. So she let Mitch have it. So Lindy and Miguel set sail on the boat for their Monthiversary, and they talk about how they feel familiar. And he talks about an article that he read about marriage is about having reliability and predictability. And he feels like Lindy is predictable and that she's consistently inconsistent, and that he feels that he's seen her at her worst. And Lindy corrects him like, no, you haven't seen me at my worst. And so now that tells you, like I told you last time, Lindy got some ticky boom boom. Like, I don't know what Lindy got going on, but Lindy says in her mind, she says she can go harder. So Miguel, you better keep one eye open at night. So Sasha and Nate goes to the lawyer's office for their month anniversary. Like, isn't that a great month anniversary? We go into the attorney's office for our post nup on our month anniversary. We going to get our post nup. That's so romantic. So they said Sasha lets them know that they're going to keep their finances separate, in the meantime. And Nate says he's basically going along with what she wants to show her that he's not trying to take advantage of her. So yeah, Nate. I mean, I understand the post up, and I totally agree with the post up, honestly. And we still don't really know what Nate does. All we know that he's a day trader. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how Nate really makes his money. He says he makes 100,000. So I don't know. We don't know. But yeah, that's the right thing to do. But I don't know if I would have went to the attorney's office on my month anniversary. Okay. So Kristen and Mitch look at their wedding pictures. They got their wedding package. So they're looking at their wedding pictures and they read their vows. Kristen says she's optimistic that she can definitely fall in love with Mitch. But that's not what she told her friend. So I don't know. Kristen is up and down with her emotions with Mitch. Mitch realizes as he reads his vows that he probably he did a better job living up to his vows. And I totally agree with you, Mitch. I totally agree with you. Mitch, I'm starting to, develop a respect for you now, Mitch, because before I just didn't know if I was gonna really like you, Mitch. So Lindy says since she's been with Miguel, she's been a lot less anxious and haven't been biting her nails much. Lindy has a lot of anxiety, and like Alexis says about Justin, she might need help in self-regulating because to put that on Miguel to continue to keep her regulated and not anxious, that's a lot of weight to put on another person. So Lindy, I don't know if you need to seek out therapy, maybe get some medication, but don't put that stress on Miguel to keep you regulated and less anxious. That's too much. That's too much on one person. She feels Miguel needs to keep accepting her and caring for her and making her feel protected. It's all about you, Lindy. It's all about you. You're not saying what you can do for Miguel. He makes you breakfast all the time. Every time we're looking at things, we're looking at Miguel cooking for Lindy, doing for Lindy. What is Lindy doing for Miguel? Maybe she's saying because she is spreading wide, that's her contribution to the marriage. But no, ma'am, no, Lindsay, that is not the case. You need to do a little bit more than make Miguel to regulate your emotions, accept you, protect you, love you even when you're crazy. Like that's a lot. What are you gonna do for Miguel? I ain't seen you put on a costume yet to go to Dungeons and Dragons. So moving on. Now as they're looking at their wedding pictures, by her Mindy, Lindy is being very hypercritical about everything. Like, oh my God, look at you, look at your hand, look at my hand, and she just ruined the moment for Miguel. Miguel is a romantic person, and so he was trying to get the romance on, and she's just poking out all this other stuff. She definitely has a lot of anxiety and a lot of pent up stuff going on that definitely needs to be worked out. She needs an outlet. If I was speculating, I would think she needs an outlet to get rid of some of that energy that she got going on. She might need to do yoga or something. Kind of get those ruminating thoughts to kind of cease a little bit. So Justin and Alexis, they're making their scrapbooks, and Justin feels that they don't have enough time because he can't be perfect all the time, and he just feels like he doesn't have enough time to make all the corrections that need to be corrected. So Alexis is trying to figure out, what you're trying to say. Like, what are you trying to say? Are you giving up? And I could kind of understand a little bit of what Justin was trying to say. Is like, at this point, if you look at Justin, especially on this scene, if you look beyond what he's saying, you can tell he seems a little bit beat down. And it's coming from the fact that he just does not understand how to please Alexis at this point, because he has been going through life as he has, and it just does not meet Alexis's standards. And because he's a pleaser and he's not pleasing her, it's getting to a point where it's wearing him down. It's weighing him down. He don't know what else to do. He's on the verge of a nervous breakdown because he just don't know how to please Alexis. And he is a pleaser. It's just going against every fiber of his being. So Alexis tells him not to dwell on their mistakes and on bad things and stuff like that, just to kind of move forward and try to move forward and do the best you can. That's basically what she's telling him, and hopefully he can definitely receive that, because he definitely looked defeated at this point. He looked very defeated. And if you look at Justin in the honeymoon versus Justin now, he slumped over. He's like, so he's being deflated at this point, and I feel bad. I really feel bad for Justin. So Stasha and Nate have an outside picnic. So they're trying the outside again. Hopefully there's no bugs. Nate says he felt dismissed by Stasha, and it hurt him when he was doing the actions and Stasha said she wanted to see actions. He was doing actions, and she was kind of like rejecting him, like, that's all good, but it ain't all that. Like him moving in and doing certain things, she just didn't seem like that was enough. So he said that hurt him, and he felt like Stasha was being. I thought he said a bitch, but I don't know. Maybe it was something else. So she was like, "You gonna call your wife a whatever it was?" I thought it was a bitch, but maybe it could be something else. Nate says, but now he can see a future with Stasha, and he is falling in love with her. She has now moved to a 7 or 8 on the spectrum. So she feels good about that. She feels good about that. He's closer to saying the L word than he has been before. Now, how she moved from a 4 to a 7 or 8 is beyond me, because just last week or a few days ago, she was at a 4. Now she's at a 7 or 8. Like, what did she do so spectacular within a few days that has moved her up? And now, I don't know. It's just, I'm telling you, Nate gives me sketchy vibes. I don't know. Maybe it's something about his demeanor. It's just, I don't know. I don't necessarily believe everything that Nate says. Nate seems like a BS artist to me. So now we're moving. Ben wants to surprise Morgan at their wedding venue. Oh, Ben. And Morgan drops the roses that Ben gives her. He's trying to be careful with her and say, hey, watch out. Here's roses, and be careful of the thorns. And she's like, boom, Morgan, rude. You are rude. You don't do that to nobody. If you don't want the roses, say no, you can keep them, but you don't throw what someone give you down on the floor, like on the ground. That's disrespectful. Like, you know what? Ben should have walked off at that point. Ben should have walked off, and when she does it, he's looking stunned. His mouth is hanging open. Ben is just like, what the heck is going on? So Morgan says she started out so excited about the process, and Ben is not the man she had hoped for. She wanted protection. She wanted to feel safe, and Ben has not given her any of that stuff. Ben is still, as she's going off, Ben is still in shock, mouth hanging open. She said she asked him specifically not to go and talk to any other couples about their problems, and he's still doing it. You are disobeying, Ben. You are being disobedient. Ben doesn't understand what Morgan is talking about. He's stuttering. He is glitching. He's doing all type of stuff because Ben is totally confused at this point. He doesn't understand why Morgan is this upset. Morgan tells Ben that he went to Justin and Miguel. He said, no, but I went to Miguel to help, to see if I was a people pleaser. And so every time Ben tries to say something, Morgan cuts him off. Morgan ain't trying to hear nothing Ben says. And side note, or sidebar, did y'all see whatever was on the crack of Ben's mouth? You could tell it was the editing because at one point it was there and one point it wasn't. So it was like right there was like this white thing, like in the crack of his mouth. And then it showed up on the other side. And I was like, what is all this white stuff coming from around his mouth? Is he just that shocked that his mouth is dry and the dryness of the mouth is causing his lips to get white? But I don't know what that was. It was kind of gross. But let's see. Ben feels like he can't do anything right. And you can't, Ben. You cannot please Morgan. So you should stop trying, in my opinion. He confesses that to Morgan that he has still been going to Justin about his issues. But Ben feels like Justin is someone he can trust. Newsflash, Ben, this is the second time an issue with you going to Justin has come up and it has gotten back to Morgan. You can't trust Justin. Not that he's telling your business, it's because he has a sneaky link, Alexis, who is around here telling all the business. Now, I just want to say, Alexis, she did say that she's remorseful about it on the after party. So I give her that. But when your husband is talking, like if my husband was talking about one of his friends and their situation or he's talking to me, confiding in me, or if I'm just overhearing something, I'm not gonna go and tell that other person what my husband said. Like that's not cool. That's not cool. It's just that's not cool. You are causing more issues in their relationship than they need. We already know that Ben and Morgan ain't gonna work, but you just making the process a lot more just unbearable for Ben. Just making the whole process unbearable. It's at this point, I feel bad for Ben and Alexis. You just need to stay out of other people's marriage. Just stay out of people's business. So he confesses to Morgan that he's still been going to Ben. Yeah. Morgan says, it's like he's lying to her face. Ben is still confused with the white around his mouth. He confused. Morgan decides to continue, says she's going to continue throughout this process so he can see how much he has hurt her. So basically she's saying, I'm going to torture you and I'm going to make your life a living hell throughout this process. Ben, get the heck out of there. Abort mission, Ben, because she is just going to make your life a living hell. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Clearly, she's going to say no on decision day. It's going to take an act of God. And I still don't think that's going to help to get you and Morgan back on the right track. It's just not going to happen, Ben. Don't put more stress on you than you need. So Ben goes back to the little room that he has for her, their old room, and he's still in shock. And Morgan is mad, and she's talking about how mad she is because he's just not saying anything. But guess what, Morgan? He's not saying anything because you won't let him say anything, because every time he started talking, you talked. You never listened to him. You had no intent on listening to anything he had to say. So Ben is sad and shocked. He takes his little bags and he goes back home. So Nate and Sasha go and get tattoos of their wedding date to show their commitment. Because tattoos are forever until you can get laser or put something else over it. But tattoos are forever. The couples get together for dinner and they get on a party bus, and Morgan and Ben, shocker, didn't arrive. And I wouldn't expect them to. Miguel feels like things are going better than expected between him and Lindy. He's Lindy says in previous relationships she got away with murder, being able to spew out crap, but she doesn't want to do that to Miguel. Miguel, listen, listen, Lindy. Lindy is going to show you something and you are going to be in shock. I hope you are bracing yourself for Hurricane Lindy because it is on the horizon. I can't wait to see when she pops off because Miguel is going to run for cover or he's going to call his sister, and his sister going to take care of it. But Lindy, I don't know what this other side of Lindy looks like, but I don't want to see it either. No, second thought, I do. I really want to see how crazy she can go. Hmm. So, oh, and side note, I Alexis looked really nice in her little pink onesie. It was really cute. I thought it was very cute. Now I didn't think it was dinner appropriate, but hey, who am I to say? I mean, I would say that's more like a one-on-one date with your boo type outfit. Like I want to make him see what I'm working with, and so we can go home and finish out the evening. But okay, girl, get it how you live it. Stasha says that they are having growing pains, but they're working through it. Nate says he takes a calmer approach than Stasha does. And we all know that Stasha is a control freak, so that's probably what the approach he's talking about. But he says, nevertheless, he's falling in love, and Stasha is his best friend. She's moved to 7 or 8, and now she's his best friend. I'm not buying Sasha and Nate. I feel like they're putting on a good facade, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't see the warm and fuzzy with them. But I didn't see it with Karen and Miles either, and they stood together. So hey, what do I know? Um, Mitch asked Kristen how she feels after a month of being married a month. Um, Kristen puts it back on him. She puts the ball back in his court. No, how do you feel after a month? So Mitch feels like it's been a journey of self-discovery. So while Kristen, she encourages Mitch and says, she lets him know that marriage is going well, but she feels a bit of pressure because she feels like she has conformed for Mitch to the point where it's starting to weigh her down. She has compromised and bent over backwards, and she does not feel that she's getting the same in return from Mitch, and she just don't know how much more she can take. And she feels like she could snap soon, and I could definitely see that because Mitch is very high maintenance. He's a high maintenance man, and if you're not in the same mind frame as him, I don't see it working. Like anyone who's with Mitch would have to be as vigilant as he is about the environment because the stuff that he does is way over the top, in my opinion. And I don't know. I don't know if an average person could deal with that unless you're in that same mind frame. She said, and she feels like if she snaps, she could possibly lose Mitch. And Mitch reassures her, he's still gonna be there even if she snaps. Um, we'll see. I'm starting to like Mitch, and I don't have any issues with Mitch. I just feel like Mitch, he's 40 something years old and he's set in his ways, and I don't see him really acquiescing to what Kristen wants. I just don't see it happening. I don't see that in his personality, and if he does it, it's not going to be long lasting. He's not like he's going to coil at, like just with the shirt. Like he could even just go along to get along with the shirt. He made a big deal out of wearing a shirt last episode. So this episode he's saying he's going to be there, but I'm not really sure when Mitch gets set in his ways if he's going to really be willing to compromise. Um, he tells her not to tiptoe around him. So Justin, lets Mitch know, like, hey, yeah, I've seen a lot of growth in you, Mitch, and I'm proud of where you're going. So as Justin is giving Mitch encouragement, Alexis is rolling her eyes, making these faces. She's like, you worried about Mitch progress? You need to worry about your own progress. So she's in her feelings. So I guess Justin picks up on it and asks her, how she's feeling about their journey. She said she don't want to talk about it. And she doesn't want to talk about it because she doesn't want to end up having a scene with Justin where if she's being honest, Justin gets in his feelings and it's going to be a whole ordeal because now his feelings are hurt and she got to handle his feelings. So she don't even want to go there. But Justin is continuing to prod, like, what's going on? Why you don't want to talk? I'm just shocked that you don't want to talk. And she's like, oh, well, my husband, since he wants to talk, let me tell you, what's going on. And he's like, well, no, I'm not making you talk, but I was just trying to figure out why you didn't want to talk. So clearly, Alexis, he did pick up on a situation where you are feeling some type of way. So that's why he asked you to talk about what it is that is bothering you, because clearly you have an issue, and he thought y'all were on the same page. And I can understand that. Alexis is usually a sharer. She usually shares a lot of information. She's always interjecting when someone is talking, giving her opinion. So now when it's time for you to talk, you don't want to talk. So that throws Justin back because now again, I feel like, okay, maybe we're getting somewhere and now we're not, again, I'm thrust back because I know that we're not on the same page. But on the other hand, I do see that Alexis, like, I don't want to cause a scene, but she probably should have just said, look, babe, I really don't want to talk about it right now. Maybe we can talk about it more in private where we can have a better dialogue. I'm just, I don't know if this is the space for it. And maybe that would have, shut it down and Justin would have just left it like that. But Justin also didn't read the room or read Alexis and just say like, okay, I'm going to leave it alone. She don't want to talk. She don't want to talk. But let me tell you how I feel. He could have just did that and just stopped trying to figure out so much of what's wrong with Alexis and just, okay, she don't want to talk. Let me talk. Let me say how I feel. This is my perspective. And, so it would have kind of shut things down. She would have responded because Alexis can't help herself. She would have responded and you would have got what you were looking for. But it went somewhere where it didn't have to go. She did tell him that, about the self-regulation and she's, feels like it's draining and she doesn't, get, and so once he comes back and he's better, she's still hurt. And, at this point she's crying and, having a moment. And Justin was like, well, what happened in this instance? And he totally, it went over his head. He did not get it. So Alexis is annoyed. She's fed up. She walks off. Stasha walks off to, comfort her. Justin walks off and the producer comforts him. Nobody else on the cast goes to check on Justin. Maybe if Ben was there, he would have, but Justin didn't have the support system that, from any of the other cast members. At least they didn't show it. So that's kind of where it ends. I know Alexis said that, he stayed in his feelings for quite some time. She said that on the after show. So yeah, Justin is the crying and the emotions are wearing Alexis out. And I also said when I noticed that he's a crier, that will wear me out because that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. There's someone who constantly crying, who constantly, feelings get hurt easily. It's a lot. It's a lot, especially when you're a type of person who has direct communication and you're trying to be direct. And every time you're direct, it hurts your partner's feelings and you don't want to have to deal with that all the time. So yeah, it's a balance in that. I've dealt with that before. But that's pretty much the episode 10 for Married at First Sight. Comment down below. What do you think? Do you think Morgan is wrong of how she feels with Ben? Should they just break up? Tell me your thoughts. What do you feel about Alexis snitching to Morgan? What do you feel about that? What do you feel how Alexis and Justin are going at this point? Give me all of your thoughts. I want to hear some of your perspective. Again, thank you if you made it this far. If you have, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I appreciate all of you, my wonderful subscribers. Look forward for more content. Ready to Love is coming up. I think I'm going to do another little quick little video about me unsubscribing from those YouTube vlog families. So I might, say, do a little quick video. It's not going to be anything long to talk about why I unsubscribed from some of those YouTube family vlog channels. It will be interesting. But until then, follow your dreams and follow your passion. It's absolutely April. Peace.